This is an actual slide of a transverse section through the esophagus, and we will also be looking at a simpler diagram side by side for better understanding. The innermost layer is the mucosa, which is concerned mainly with absorption and secretion, and so has lots of glands, which we will discuss in the upcoming video. The mucosa has modifications throughout the GI tract, which have been discussed later in this video. Below the mucosa we can find the submucosa, which is made up of loose connective tissue and is very rich in blood vessels, lymph vessels, neurons and lymphatic nodules. The submucosa does not have any glands except in duodenum. Now this is a slide of the duodenum, and as you can see over here, the submucosa has lots of glands, and these are the Brunner's glands. Outside the submucosa is a layer known as muscularis, which is made up of smooth muscles and hence the name. It has two layers, the inner circular layer where the muscle fibers are arranged in a circular pattern, and an outer longitudinal layer where the muscle fibers have a longitudinal orientation. The stomach has an extra oblique layer inner to the circular layer. The outermost layer is called serosa. It is a very thin layer which is a part of mesothelium. It is mainly protective and supportive in function. The mucosa in the stomach shows numerous folds known as rugae. These provide room for expansion of stomach to store extra food. These rugae are visible only when the stomach is not fully stretched. Once the stomach is filled to its max capacity and the walls are completely stretched, the rugae are no longer visible. Imagine it like this piece of folded paper. The foldings over here are rugae, but once you stretch it from both the sides tightly, these rugae disappear. The mucosa of the intestine is thrown into numerous projections known as villi. These serve mainly to increase the surface area for absorption. Unlike the rugae, the villi are slender projections and are always visible. The interior of a villus has a large lymph vessel known as lacteal, which serves for absorption of fats. Other than this, it also has numerous capillaries for absorption of other nutrients. This is what the villi look like in an actual slide under the microscope. This is a slide of the ileum. The cells of the intestine, known as enterocytes, have microvilli on their apical surface. These are just like miniature villi. These are the foldings of the cell membrane of the cells. These also serve to increase the surface area for absorption. It's really interesting to note that these and certain other factors increase the surface area of the small intestine to as much as that of a football field. Peristalsis is the propulsive movement of food in the GI tract from the pharynx down to the anus. Let's look at how this happens. In the GI tract, the walls themselves have a lot of neurons. When a bolus of food distends a particular segment of the GI tract, this is sensed by the receptors, which send a signal to the segment just behind it to contract and a signal to the segment just ahead of it to relax. This pushes the food forward, and this wave of contraction and relaxation continues and pushes the food all the way throughout the GI tract.